Hello everybody, it is Ebontis, and we are 8 days, per se, since I'm recording this one, but basically a week from Season of the Wish. So, Season of the Witch. Yeah, if you cross those words at some point in this transition between seasons, or you think you hear one or the other, believe me, you're not alone. What am I doing in these last couple of, days here of the season? I am actually bounty prepping, but again, that's me personally. Now, the main reason I'm doing that is getting early access to the artifact, hopefully to see some fun stuff in there. I am getting the catalysts actually opened up a little bit as well. So you've got this guy, quadruples the objective progression when you are doing the season, and we know that's going to be Dragon's Breath is the Season Pass exotic. So trying to see if Season Pass exotic Dragon's Breath is actually worth anything, may as well get the catalyst going faster. I don't know if it's going to be, my hopes are low. We talked about this on the podcast where it's like, joking like an IG and in and out bet, like something useless, but just versus me incognito, I do think this will be less exciting personally. So we'll see. Maybe it'll surprise me, but Dragon's Breath, just the way it's described, sounds more like kind of ad clear doing some other stuff. Not so much with regards to, it doesn't sound like it's going to be a great DPS weapon, unless the little blobs will work different than I expect. But I'm doing a little bounty prep to get a jump on those. But the other thing I am doing is I am trying to get a jump on my power level. Main reason for that is the dungeon. Now, unlike other activities that we have in the game, we currently have certain ones where they're like power capped or 5 levels below or whatever. Dungeons don't work that way. Dungeons, when you jump into them, some of the activities will be harder the farther you go through them. So if you jump into, say, it's probably better to do the more recent one since it's more difficult. Ghost of the Deep, for example, recommended power 1790. But as you go through the encounters, that difficulty number goes up. So by the time you're done, whether it's 1820, 18, whatever, the final boss room is going to hurt. So even just a little bit of extra power, sometimes just getting that plus 10 or plus 11 to get to that kind of next bracket of 10 for your power level can actually make a difference in your, survivability. So that, me as a content creator, is why I'm doing the bounty thing. If you're not that worried about it and you're like, I'll get to the dungeon when I get to it, or I'll get to the dungeon when you put out a guide on it, that's going to be the goal. December 1st, 3 days after the season starts, I am going to be working on the dungeon, and as soon as I can get a dungeon guide out to you guys, I will be doing a dungeon guide. That's probably also going to have an ad in it, just because those videos are typically bigger, so if you guys do see that video and want to support it, watch that video, very appreciated. But for me, that's the main reason I'm doing what I'm doing right now. What content would you guys like to see from me in the interim while I'm probably playing? I'm doing random bounty prep, but some of the things I usually do when I'm going out of town is scheduling things like lost sectors. Main reason I do those is I can do a master guide, I can schedule them in advance, and if you guys are still looking to grind out a few more lost sectors, they can be beneficial. I did one recently. Now it hasn't been like a consistent, steady track of them, but it just didn't get that many views. It's probably a combination of Destiny and the state that it's in and the population of the game and everything else. But do you guys even want to see lost sector videos? If you do, I could probably pepper a few before the end of the season. But if you guys are like, not really till the next season, then I won't. So let me know in the comments below if master lost sector guides, which also helps you with legend. Don't worry, I just do master so you can see it if you want to. Those might have a little more benefit next season for some of the world drop farming that we can get into when we jump in and experiment with that. But for now, if you're looking for an exotic, they still work to farm. Even if you do just like a couple a day, usually if I do 1 or 2 master lost sectors, I get an exotic every day. I kid you not. Now, I may just be totally lucky, but I don't sit there and usually farm 20 of them to make a video. But if I do it 1, 2, or 3 times, one of those times I will get an exotic. Usually if I'm doing a master video, it's 1 of 2. Maybe it's 1 of 3, but generally if you just want an exotic every day, knock a few of those out, they probably take about 10-ish minutes or so each time. It's not a bad way to spend your time if you're looking for something to do. Now, the other question I have for you guys is next season. We know on the 28th, we're going to be getting the new season. That's going to be Season of the Wish. We're going to have new content. Now, the content is probably going to be over here in the helm. We're probably going to be talking to Marasov. Ikora definitely sounds involved because she's going to have her hidden, doing research over like the wishes and the Ahamkars and everything we can learn to make sure our 15th wish actually works correctly. We're also probably going to be working with Petra if we're doing stuff around the Dreaming City, which I imagine we're going to be doing stuff. We'll be hanging out with Petra a little bit. And Crow may or may not be involved. I'm not entirely sure why he would specifically need to be involved, but We'll see. Would be nice to bring him back into the story. He has been leaning next to that wall for just a long time now. So he's probably due to take a break from his wall leaning right down here. But yeah, over here in the helm, that's going to be the section that they use for the Season of the Wish. Now, I'm curious to all of you, are you excited for Season of the Wish? Is that something that intrigues you? Is the lore exciting? So we have an Ahamkara egg. We are pretty much going to hatch it. I don't know how quick they need to get up to full size, but the little video preview teaser thing that we got, that's a big claw. That looks like a full-size Riven claw in the video. And then the face, and what it seems we're dealing with is not going to be a small Ahamkara. The voice also seems slightly different as well. I don't know who it's impersonating or talking as otherwise, or if it's its own voice, but maybe we interact with the Ahamkara as well, or maybe we need to hatch it. I don't know what, but we're going to have this 6, 7, 8 week season of events that build up to whatever the finale is going to be that sends us into the final shape. So that is going to be doing research with the hidden to understand how Ahamkara wishes work. We have the wish wall in the last wish raid, where at some point maybe we need to put the 15th wish in. Maybe there's going to be a puzzle around that. I kind of doubt it because they probably want everyone experiencing it, but that is part of the lore that at the end of this season that we had is we need to understand how the Awoken got the wish wall to be so specifically accurate. That's part of it too. We also have the Awoken themselves stuck in this 3-week cycle in here. Over and over and over, 3-week cycle changes what the skybox looks like, the enemies that you're facing, who's in the blind well, and then you have the death battery of all of this going on, and the Shattered Throne, and killing the wizard at the end of the 3-week cycle, and then all that has been going on for 5 years. Now, I have very little hope that they're actually really going to like revolutionize the destination. Feels like too much of a lift for a season. That'd be a lot of work, but you know, it'd be cool if they did. Big seasons that go into expansions typically tend to be good. Cross my fingers that actually can continue to be true. I will see. I don't know. We also get a dungeon, as I said, but I don't picture them putting another dungeon on the Dreaming City because that is one of the older destinations. So if they do ever feel like moving stuff around, doesn't feel like we need 2 of them there. So the dungeon could be somewhere completely different, which is actually kind of what I expect. And it may be just one of those we launch from the helm. Could be literally one of those where it's kind of like this. This is using some of the Titan architecture and then just something completely else. But dungeons are unique and cool, so I'm very curious where we launch that from, what the architecture is, what it's working with. Kind of intrigued. Hopefully that one's fun. And then for everything else, we know we'll have weekly story coverage and any updates to the content and guides from me, you guys know as well. But also, we may end up with a 6-7 month season. We don't know yet. Obviously, it's not official, but Final Shape is all but confirmed to be delayed from very good sources like Jason Schreier and Rebecca Valentine. If both of those say, they spoke to people that say there's an internal delay that is probably looking at June. And I think other people like Tassie's article, I think his source as well. Possibly from Tassie, there's also going to be a very small, remember this, very small piece of stopgap content, maybe around when Final Shape was supposed to launch, maybe like late February or right at early March, that kind of bridges the gap, kind of fills the content. It's not going to be enough that anybody's going to be happy about it, but it is going to give them more time probably to work on Final Shape to get them to a point where they are happy releasing it. Feedback on Nightfall was not good, so this one can't really miss. It needs to be good. So with the potential delay, I'm also going to be covering other things. There's a lot of games that are coming in the future. Some of you have really enjoyed my variety guides. I'm still trying to figure out what it's like for doing a channel dedicated to one thing or a variety channel or using this main channel, and all of that stuff for me is still kind of an experiment. Some videos did well, like a couple of my Starfield and Diablo and Remnant, and even my Liza P video broke 125,000 views. Thank you all for those views. I'm glad you've enjoyed it. But also for me, that's something that I've still got to experiment with as Destiny goes through what is looking to be a bumpy road till we figure out what the future holds. But also for me, just to have longevity in what I'm doing here, as this is what I do, trying to continue to broaden what I cover to hopefully be more of a guides and things and who knows whatever else I'm going to cover. So let me know what you want to see from me in the next week. Let me know if you guys are excited for Season of the Wish and why. All of this, throw it in the comments. And also, if there are games you want to see me cover next year, there's a lot of games going to be coming out next year. Probably not as many as this year. I think 2023 was the culmination of like all of the, you know, sickness that may not be named on YouTube, but I feel like all of that was like built up and then just landed in 2023. So 24 may be lighter, but if there are games that you want to, like Dragon's Dogma 2, if that's going to be first quarter release, that sounds like a really fantastic game for me to cover. It could be huge, but I'm actually really looking forward to that one. So there's a lot of stuff coming. So let me know in the comments. What do you want to see in Destiny, both soon and then also for next season, and then just stuff I haven't covered? What games do you want to see me cover? And then from all of you, if there's anything else you want to say in the comments, throw it down there and say hello. But if you guys enjoy my content, please hit the subscribe button, hit the alert bell. It's a good way for my videos on YouTube to make it to you. If you want to support the channel right now, I've got a sponsored video out there. If you guys just give that a watch, that would be appreciated. You'll probably see a link at the end of this one. And then for anything else, you can find me on Twitter and say hello. And Twitch is probably where I'll stream variety stuff because I don't want to mess with the YouTube algorithm quite that bad. So thank you guys. Have a good one and hope to catch up with you very soon. Thank you guys for supporting the channel for as long as we have, and hopefully we have much more success to come. See you soon.